Today in class we covered some information that's not in your textbook. I thought I would make a little video to help you understand the information regarding boundaries. First, we talked about the genetic political boundary types. This is talking about how a boundary was formed, what its function is, and what its purpose is. Is it still around today? The first type is the antecedent political boundary, and that's drawn across an area before the area becomes well populated. Malaysia and Indonesia's border is a good example of this. Oftentimes this could be a physical boundary, but it could also be a politically imposed boundary, such as agreements that were made when settling South America. The next type of boundary is the subsequent political boundary. This is drawn after the development of the cultural landscape. That is, there are already people living in the area, and oftentimes this type of boundary can become particularly confused. Let's say this is our country right here, and we have two groups of people. Group A will be represented with red, and Group B represented with blue. If we're going through and we're drawing a political boundary, the logical place to draw it would be this yellow line, correct, separating the two nationalities. However, oftentimes those lines aren't drawn properly. This was the case with Africa. Lines got drawn that mixed ethnic groups together. So you have two groups that may or may not get along, but you're also dividing the same ethnic groups between two different states. This can be problematic. You also have a superimposed boundary. Now this is what we were talking about with Africa. This is when a boundary is placed on a region where there's already people living, there's political power there, it's a colonial power that is exercising the right to put a boundary there. The last type is the relic boundary. The relic boundary no longer functions as a boundary, but it can still mark important historical and political differences, such as the boundary between North and South Vietnam. The Berlin Wall is another good example of this type of